Welcome back to Master English. Welcome to another class. Yeah, one of the most interesting, inspiring, and life-changing prose ever. It's a story. It's your invitation to English. Yes or no? And the story I've taken, as you can see on the blackboard, whiteboard, it's written: "Stay hungry, stay foolish." ତମମାନେ ଠିକ୍ ଶୁଣିଛ ଆଜିର ଚାପ୍ଟର ହେଉଛି ଷ୍ଟେ ହଙ୍ଗରି ଷ୍ଟେ ଫୁଲିସ୍ ପିଲେ ଷ୍ଟେ ହଙ୍ଗରି ଷ୍ଟେ ଫୁଲିସ୍ it is not at all a prose piece. It's not at all a story. It is the experience of Steve Jobs being shared with other students. Steve Jobs Stanford University रे ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ୱେଲକମ୍ ସେରିମନି ଥାଏ ସେ ସମୟରେ से आड्रेस करते स्टूडेंट्स मानू आउ से स्टूडेंट्स मानू जो आड्रेस करते जो जहाँ से कही व्हाट एवर ही हैज टोल्ड देयर दैट वाज द स्टोरी स्टे हंग्री स्टे फुलिश पिले स्टे हंग्री स्टे फुलिश कहले कौन स्टे हंग्री तार लिटरल मीनिंग जदि आम देखा इफ विल लुक एट द लिटरल मीनिंग इट वुड बी भोकिला रुह आउ बोका रुह नाई कि तार लिटरल मीनिंग शाब्दिक अर्थ जदि देखा आम किंतु एक्चुअली सेमती ना इट्स नॉट एक्जैक्टली दैट स्टे हंग्री फॉर नॉलेज डोंट बी एवर कंटेंटेड दैट यू हैव लर्नड a lot and stay foolish always thinks that you are zero and you have to start again. Yes or no? So okay, let's not waste time. The story is too long to complete within 3 to 4 classes. Still, I'll try to complete the class. So, Steve Jobs, known as, was born in the year 1955. Yeah, in the year 1955. 1955 मसीहारे से जन्म हुए किए स्टीवन पॉल जॉब्स and lasted till 2011 2011 and he is an American businessman. Stephen Paul Jobs is an American businessman. America देशर जड़े प्रतिपत्तिशाली व्यापारी. Yes or no, you can say व्यापारी, industrialist, शिल्पपति. And he was also considered as a designer, an inventor who invent things. And she is best known as the co-founder chairman of the Apple Inclusives. Apple Inclusives रो co-founder और chairman हिसाब रे से best known worldwide. पृथ्वी सारा लोग तांको जानती Apple company रो co-founder chairman हिसाब रे. He is one of the greatest visionaries of our time. Visionaries, you can say दर्शन शास्त्र जहाँकर पारगता था आग को देखी कि जो मैंने गेस करी पारंती दोज पीपल आर कंसिडर एज विजनरी पीपल एंड ही इज वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट विजनरी ऑफ आवर टाइम्स ए रिवोल्यूशनरी परिवर्तनशील दुनिया रे रिवोल्यूशनरी फिगर जो मैंने परिवर्तन आनती गोटे नुआ आंदोलन सृष्टि करती से भाया जड़े लोक थे किए स्टीवन पॉल जॉब्स हु चेंज द वे पीपल एक्सपीरियंस टेक्नोलॉजी टुडे प्रजुक्ति विद्या रे जो किसी परिवर्तन आसी जो किसी बड़ा परिवर्तन आई इट्स ओनली पॉसिबल बिकॉज ऑफ स्टीव जॉब्स द विंडो वट एवर यू आर यूजिंग टुडे इन ए मोबाइल फोन वट एंड्रॉइड सिस्टम वट एवर यू आर यूजिंग वट एवर टेक्नोलॉजी आर बीइंग यूज्ड इनसाइड मोबाइल एंड कंप्यूटर सुपर कंप्यूटर आदर this is the technology being developed by Steve Jobs and his company. Yes or no? Technology story. Through Apple, he has been widely recognized as a charismatic pioneer. Charismatic कहले कौन को आजिबा पिले माने ऐश्वरिक शक्ति थिवा लोक. Yes or no? Revolutionary कहले परिवर्तन आणुथिवा विप्लवी. You can say वैप्लविक परिवर्तन जो माने आणु थांदे से मन को रिवोल्यूशनरी कुहा जाए. Charismatic कहले ऐश्वर्य शक्ति संपन्न व्यक्ति माने charismatic. Pioneer means founder. Pioneer means exactly founder, प्रतिष्ठाता, pioneer. yes or no, pioneer and so revolution, and for his influential career in the computer and consumer electronic fields. He has an influence, he has an imprint over which sector? Yes, you know, electronic fields. In the field of electronics, yes, a confluence and influence. So the article is, you know, Steve Jobs' commencement address at Stanford University in 2005. This speech, this article is a part of that inaugural address by Steve Jobs in the year 2005. 2005 ମସିହାରେ ଦେଇଥିବା ଭାଷଣରୁ ଉଦ୍ଧୃତ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ପାଠଟା ଆମେ ପଢ଼ିବାକୁ ଯାଉଛେ ଏଇଟା 2005ରେ ଷ୍ଟାନଫୋର୍ଡ଼ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିରେ ଷ୍ଟିଭ୍ ଜବ୍ସ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ଆଡ୍ରେସ୍ କରିଥିଲେ, ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ୍ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେ ଆଡ୍ରେସ୍ କରୁଥିଲେ। ତାର ମାନେ ସେ ଯାହା କହିଥିଲେ ସେଇ ଜିନିଷ। ତ ପିଲା ମୁଁ ଆଉ ସମୟ ନଷ୍ଟ କରିବିନି। ଆଇ ଡୋଣ୍ଟ ୱାଣ୍ଟ ଟୁ ଟେଲ୍ ମୋର୍ ଆବାଉଟ୍ ଷ୍ଟିଭ୍ ଜବ୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆପଲ୍ ଇନକ୍ଲୁସିଭ୍। ଲେଟ୍ ମି ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ଦ ଷ୍ଟୋରୀ। So I am honored to be with you. The line start like this. Open your book and look at the line. So I am honored to be with you today. I am honored to be with you today. Look at the line. ମୁଁ ତମମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ ଅଛି ବୋଲି ମୋତେ ସମ୍ମାନିତ ମନେ ହେଉଛି। I am honored passive sentence ରେ ଅଛି। At your commencement କହିଲେ ଆରମ୍ଭ, starting। commencement କହିଲେ କ'ଣ ପିଲେ? commencement କହିଲେ ଆରମ୍ଭ, commencement, you know, ଆରମ୍ଭ, start. You can say beginning also. So at your commencement from one of the finest university in the world, one of the finest university in the world. Here finest university बोलिके काहा को जाइछि? Yes, he has told that Stanford University को finest university बोली कहा जाइछि। So one of the finest university in the world. I never graduated from college. I never graduated. I means Steve Jobs is telling the students that I never graduated from college. ମୁଁ କେବେ କଲେଜରୁ ପାଠ ପଢ଼ି ନାହିଁ, ମୋର କଲେଜ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ୍ ହେଇ ନାହିଁ। Truth be told, what is telling? Truth be told, ସର୍ବଦା ସତ୍ୟ କହିବା ଦରକାର। ମୁଁ ଆଜି ତୁମ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ଠିଆ ହେଇଛି ବୋଲି ମିଛ କହିବି ସେମିତି କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ମୁଁ କେବେ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ୍ କରି ନାହିଁ and it's a truth be told. This is the closest I have related stories and this is what I'm gonna tell you. जोटा जिनस मु तुमको कहबा पे जाउची, this is the closest I have related stories. ए स्टोरीटा मो सहित संपर्कित, मो सहित किरणीर भलिया संपर्कित। ever gotten to a college graduation, मोर कॉलेज पाठ पढ़ा संबंधित स्टोरी। Today I want to tell you, आज मु तुमको कहबा को जाउची, today I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. What? 3 stories of my life. मो जीवनर 3टा गल्प कहबा पई जाउची। स्टीव जॉब्स कहउचंदे मु भाषण दोनी रे पिले, मु कोन कहबी? यस, मो जीवनर 3टा गल्प कहबी। दैट इज इट, नो बिग डील, किछि बड़ कथा नाही, केवल 3टा गप, just 3 stories। Yes, so the first story is about connecting the dots, and the first story of my life is about connecting the dots. Here connecting the dots कहले कौन? Our present situation have the relation with our future. वर्तमान आम जो काम करुचे, ये जो वर्तमान रो संपर्क आमर भविष्यत सहित रही। and the present is the dot and that is connection with your future. Yes or no? So let me start the topic. This topic started like this. I dropped out कहले कौन रे पिले? dropped out कहले leave, left, you can say left। पाठ मझिरु छाड़ी दवा। I dropped out of read college after the first 6 months. प्रथम 6 मास पढ़ी सारिला परे मु कौन कली? मु पाठ छाड़ीदेली, मु कॉलेज छाड़ीदेली, ड्रॉप आउट हो गली। तो फर्स्ट 6 months but then stayed around as a drop in exactly। So drop in means as a visitor, visitor, or you can say guest, as a visitor, and I stayed there as a drop-in, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months, and I stayed there another 18 months. 6 ମାସ ପରେ ମୁଁ ପାଠ ଛାଡ଼ିଲି, କିନ୍ତୁ as a drop-in students, as a drop-in students, I stayed there for another 18 months, 18 ମାସ ପାଇଁ ରହିଲି. So before I really quit, QUIT, quit କହିଲେ ଛାଡ଼ିବା, quit କହିଲେ ଛାଡ଼ିବା. Before I really quit. So before I really quit, so why did I drop out? Why did I drop out then? ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି ଛାଡ଼ିଲି? Why did I drop out? ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି ପାଠ ଛାଡ଼ିଲି? The question arises here, why did I drop out? Why did Steve Jobs drop out? So now let us see the stories. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଗପଟା ଦେଖିବା କ'ଣ, what are the reason ସବୁ କ'ଣ ଥିଲା, what are the reasons that forced him to leave the college? Why did he drop out from the college? Let me tell you through the stories, and the story being what narrated by Steve Jobs. It started before I was born. Look at the sentence. It started before I was born. କ'ଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ରେ ପିଲେ? ମୁଁ ଜନ୍ମ ହେବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଏହା ମୋ ସହିତ ଘଟୁଥିଲା. How can one say that it started before I was born? ମୁଁ ଜନ୍ମ ହେଲା ପରେ ଜଣେ ଲୋକ ଜାଣିପାରିବା ଦରକାର, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଇଟ୍ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟେଡ଼ ବିଫୋର୍ ଆଇ ୱାଜ୍ ବର୍ନ. ମୋର ଜନ୍ମ ହେବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ହିଁ ମୋ ସହିତ ଏମିତି କିଛି ଘଟଣା ଘଟୁଥିଲା. ମାଇ ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ୍ ମଦର. ପିଲେ ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ୍ ମଦର କହିଲେ କ'ଣ? ଷ୍ଟେପ୍ ମଦର, ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ୍ ମଦର କହିଲେ ମୋର ଜନ୍ମିତ ମା, ମୋର ମା ଯିଏ ମୋତେ ଜନ୍ମଦାତ୍ରୀ ମା. ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ୍ ମଦର କହିଲେ ଜନ୍ମଦାତ୍ରୀ ମା. ମାଇ ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ୍ ମଦର ୱାଜ୍ ଏ ୟଙ୍ଗ unwed college graduate. Look at this, young unwed college graduate. So my biological mother, Steve Jobs କ'ଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି? My biological mother was a young unwed ଅବିବାହିତ, yes you are correct, unwed college graduate. ଗୋଟେ କଲେଜ ପଢ଼ୁଆ ଝିଅ ଯିଏକି ବାହା ହେଇନଥିଲା, ସେ ମୋ ମା ଥିଲା. Steve Jobs କହୁଛନ୍ତି yes, young unwed college graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. So what did she decide? Because she was unmarried, she decided to put me for adoption. Look at the sentence, put me for adoption. କହିଲେ କ'ଣ ପିଲେ? adoption, ପୋଷ୍ୟ. ସେ ମୋତେ ଜଣକୁ ଦେଇଦେବ. ସେ କ'ଣ ଚିନ୍ତା କଲା? ସେ ମୋତେ ମୋ ଜନ୍ମ ହେଇନଥିଲି, I am being rejected by my mother. ମୁଁ ଜନ୍ମ ନ ହେବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ମୋ ମା ମୋତେ ରିଜେକ୍ଟ କରିଦେଲା. ୟେସ୍ ନ? ସେ ମୋତେ ରଖିବା ଦରକାର. ମୋ ମା, ଗୋଟେ ଛୁଆ ମାଆର ସ୍ନେହ ପାଇଁ କାନ୍ଦେ. ଛୁଆଟା ମା ଛୁଆଟାକୁ ରଖିବା ଦରକାର, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋ ମା କ'ଣ କଲା? ମୋର ଜନ୍ମ ହେଲା ମାତ୍ରେ ମୋତେ ସେ ଅନ୍ୟକୁ ଦେଇଦେବ, ପୋଷ୍ୟପୁତ୍ର ଭାବେ ଦେଇଦେବ ବୋଲିକିରି ଡିସାଇଡ଼୍ କଲା. Put me for adoption. She felt very strongly. ସେ ଜୋର ଦେଇକି କହୁଥିଲା very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates. One good point was there, ଗୋଟେ ଭଲ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଥିଲା, that if I must be adopted, I should be adopted by college graduates. ସେ ସବୁବେଳେ କହୁଥିଲେ ଯେ ମୋତେ କଲେଜ ପଠୁଆ, ଯେଉଁ ମୋର ବାପା ମା ମୋତେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଆଡପ୍ଟ କରିବେ, ଦେ ମଷ୍ଟ ବି ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏଟ୍, ସେମାନେ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏଟ୍ ହେବା ଦରକାର. ଏଇଟା ମୋ ମାଆର ଚିନ୍ତା ଥିଲା. କ'ଣ ଥିଲା ତା ମାଆଙ୍କର ଚିନ୍ତା? ଯେ ମୋ ପୁଅକୁ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଆଡପ୍ଟ କରିବେ, ଯିଏ ବି ପୋଷ୍ୟପୁତ୍ର ଭାବରେ ରଖିବେ, ଦେ ମଷ୍ଟ ବି କଲେଜ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏଟ୍. So everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. So the first people they are interested to adopt Steve Jobs as their child. where a lawyer and his wife ଗୋଟେ ଓକିଲ ଦମ୍ପତି ସେମାନେ ପ୍ରଥମ ଲୋକ ଥିଲେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ କ'ଣ କଲେ ରାଜି ହେଲେ କ'ଣ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆଡପ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କାହାକୁ ଷ୍ଟିଭ୍ ଜବ୍ସକୁ then okay and was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife except EXCEPT accept କହିଲେ ବ୍ୟତୀତ accept ନାଇଁ ରେ ପିଲେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ACCEPT accept କହିଲେ ଗ୍ରହଣ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ expect ତିନିଟା ଟିକେ ବହୁତ କନଫ୍ୟୁଜ ହୁଅନ୍ତି ପିଲେ expect କହିଲେ ଆଶା one is accept EXCEPT another is accept another is expect so these are the three confusing words that's why I have written ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଲେଖିଛି ପିଲେ so what happens so everything was all set for me to be adopted by birth by a lawyer and his wife except that when I popped out जन्म हेली popped out कहले कौन जन्म हेली so when I popped out मुझे तो आखि देखिली मुझे तो जन्म हेली what happens they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl that lawyer and his wife they decided at the last moment शेष समय ସେମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର ନିଷ୍ପତ୍ତିକୁ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ କଲେ they decided their decision they they rejected their own decision what did they say what did they say ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କହିଲେ they wanted a baby girl they don't want a boy so again I'm rejected second time for the second time I'm being rejected ମୋ ମା जन्मदात्री माँ प्रथम मत रिजेक्ट कला द्वितीय थर मत जो मैंने नवा इंटरेस्टेड थे से भी रिजेक्टेड कले लुक हाउ कैन सच थिंग्स हैपेंस विथ ए जस्ट एन एन इनोसेंट चाइल्ड isn't it so my parents were on a waiting list got a call in the middle of the night so my current parents they got a call at midnight राति 12टा बेले तांको कॉल करा गला they got a call at the midnight yes or no and what did they say we have an unexpected baby boy unexpected look at the word that is being used unexpected অবাঞ্ছিত so unexpected অবাঞ্ছিত আমার পাখে গোটে অবাঞ্ছিত শিশু অছি অবাঞ্ছিত শিশু অছি তুমি নব কি how can this type of words being used yes or no unexpected baby boy do you want him তুমি নেব কি সতে কি বজারে পরিবা বিক্রি হଉଛି সতে কি বজারে ଛେଳି ମେଣ୍ଢା କୁକୁଡ଼ା ବିକ୍ରି ହଉଛି ସେ ଭଳିଆ ସେମାନେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ତମକୁ ନେବ କି ଗୋଟେ ଛୁଆ ଅଛି ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଅବାଞ୍ଛିତ ଶିଶୁ ଅଛି ତମେ ନେବ କି so my parents were on a waiting list got a call in the middle of the night asking we have an unexpected baby boy to want him they said of course and the reply was from the parents side they told yes of course we want him my biological mother later found out that my mother had never graduated from college and my father had never graduated from high school and later on କିଛି ଦିନ ପରେ ମୋ ମା ଜନ୍ମଦାତ୍ରୀ ମା ଜାଣିବାକୁ ପାଇଲା କ'ଣ ଜାଣିବାକୁ ପାଇଲା my biological mother later found out that my mother had never graduated from college ମୋ ମା ଯିଏ ମୋ ମା ହେବା ପାଇଁ ଯାଉଥିଲା she had never graduated from college ସେ କେବେ କଲେଜ ଯାଇନଥିଲା ସେ କଲେଜରୁ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ୍ କରିନଥିଲା and my father had never graduated from high school ସେ କେବେ ହାଇସ୍କୁଲ ଯାଇନଥିଲେ ହାଇସ୍କୁଲରୁ ପାସ୍ କରିନଥିଲେ ତାହେଲେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିବ ତାଙ୍କର ମା କ'ଣ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ ପିଲେ ତାଙ୍କର ମା ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ that if anybody wants to adopt my son they must be graduated yes or no then what happens that my father had never graduated from high school she refused to sign the final adoption paper she refused कहले कौन पिले मना करिदेला refused मना कला so refused to sign the final adoption paper तो पुष्यपुत्र ग्रहण करिबार जो पेपर वर्क थिला से पेपर रे से साइन करिबा पई मना करी देले सी ओनली रिलेंटेड relented means agreed. Relented means agreed. Yes, and she finally relented a few months later. किछि मास पर से agree ହେଲା month later when my parents promised that I would someday go to college. And when she agreed केतेबेले से राजी हेले when my father and mother, my current father and mother, they swear in front of her that whether they are uneducated doesn't matter, your child will one day must go to the college. And after listening that, she agreed, she finally relented to give her son. Para number 2, and 17 years later, 17 ବର୍ଷ ପରେ, after 17 years later, I did go to college. ମୁଁ कॉलेज गली. did go मन रखिबा गोटे बढ़िया सेंटेंस कहूँ पिले. did go नहीं, did plus go एटा कौन एटा went भी लिखा जाई पारंता ना. did plus v1 is equal to v2 हमें जानी थिबा. did plus s is equal to v2, did plus v1 is equal to v2. I went to college भी लिखा जाई पारंता, but to give emphasis, this type of sentences are called emphatic sentence in English. रे एमन को emphatic sentence बोली कहा है. So and 17 years later I did go to college. मु कॉलेज को गली. But I naively means simply, naively means simply সাধারণ ভাবে naively choose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. एभलिया गोटे कॉलेज चूज कली जोटा एक्सपोर्ट माने स्टैनफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी भलिया सेटा बहुत खर्चांत करूला, बहुत पैसा लगुला. इट वाज एक्सपेंसिव, दामी कॉलेज थिला स्टैनफोर्ड. एंड ऑल ऑफ माय वर्किंग क्लास yes or no महंगा. yes, you are correct. So all of my working class parents जो माने डेली ये रे काम करू थांती. yes or no. So what happens, all of my working class parents, what happens, savings were being spent on my college tuition. मो कॉलेज रा ट्यूशन फीस जमा करिबारे मोर बापा माँ जो माने काम करी माने सबुदिन काम करी रोजगार करुले, जहाँ संचय करते सबू पैसा सरीगला. कॉलेज रे सबू पैसा डिपोजिट हो गला रे पिले. ट्यूशन आफ्टर 6 months, 6 मास परे, आफ्टर 6 months I couldn't see the value in it. Whatever was being taught inside my college, whatever was being taught inside the classroom wherever I was sitting, whatever lecture were being made by my lecturers, whatever I was getting there, I didn't see any value in it. जहाँ भी पढ़ुली, जहाँ पढ़ाऊला कॉलेज रे, जहाँ भी करुली, से जिनसर मोर जीवन रे कौन से मूल्य अच्छी, से मूल्य मो अनुभव करि पारिली नहीं. से पाठटा को मोर काम रे केमिति लागिबो, मो फ्यूचर केमिति शेप अप करिवो, मो किछि भी जानी पारिली नहीं. So what happens then? I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea. I was just a kid, 17 years old, teen as kid, and I had no idea what I want to do. मो पाखे कौन सी आइडिया नथिला मु कौन करिबि आगरे, मो जीवन रो लक्ष्य कौन, मु कौन करिबा पई चाहूची, मु सेटा जानि नथिली. what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And no idea how whatever education is being provided there, जहाँ पाठ पढ़ाउथिले से पाठटा किभली हेल्प करिवो ताको फिगर आउट करिबा पाई, ताको शेप अप करिबा पाई, जहाँ मु हबार अछि सेटा हबार ए पाठटा किभली सहाय्य करिवो. I had no idea. I was just vacant. Nothing was there. Yes. Then what happens? I was spending no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. And there, which had no relation with my future, which can't, as per me, which can, had no relation to shape up my future. I have spent all the money of my working class parents in that. ଯେଉଁ ଜିନିଷର କୌଣସି କାମ ନାହିଁ ମୋ ଜୀବନ ସହିତ, ଯେଉଁ ଜିନିଷ ପ୍ରତି ମୋର ଆଗ୍ରହ ନାହିଁ, ସେହି କାମରେ ମୋ ବାପା ମାଆଙ୍କର ସଞ୍ଚିତ ସମସ୍ତ ଧନକୁ ମୁଁ ଖର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିଦେଇଥିଲି. I have spent all the money. So my parents had saved their entire life, so I decided to drop out. Why did I decide to drop out? ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି? Because I didn't see the value of education being provided there in my college. I didn't figure out how the college education that was being provided will shape my future. That's why, that is the simple reason, that's why I drop out that college. ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ college ଛାଡ଼ିଲି. So the money my parents had saved their entire life, so I decided to drop out and thought that it would all work okay. And thought that all is well. ନାଇଁ କି ସେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ନିଜକୁ ନିଜେ କନଫିଡେନ୍ସ ଥିଲି, ନିଜକୁ ନିଜେ କ'ଣ କଲି, ନିଜକୁ ନିଜେ ସାନ୍ତ୍ୱନା ଦେଉଥିଲି, ସବୁ ହେବ, ଏଭ୍ରିଥିଙ୍ଗ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ଓକେ, ଜଷ୍ଟ ଡୋଣ୍ଟ ୱରି. ୟେସ୍ ୟୁ ନୋ. ସୋ ବଟ୍ ଲୁକିଂ ବ୍ୟାକ୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏବେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୋ ପଛକୁ ଦେଖେ, ମୋର ଅତୀତକୁ ମୁଁ ଦେଖେ, ସେଇ ସମୟ ବିଷୟରେ ମୁଁ ଚିନ୍ତା କରେ. But looking back, it was pretty scary at the time. I have forgotten that sentence. It was pretty scary at that time. সেই সমୟରେ একটা ভয়ঙ্কর ପରିସ୍ଥିତି ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିଥିଲା. ମୋର ମାନସିକ ସନ୍ତୁଳନ ବିଗିଡ଼ି ଯାଇଥିଲା. ମୁଁ ସେତେବେଳେ ଚିନ୍ତା କରିପାରୁନଥିଲି what to not to do. Yes or no? I was frightened at the time. Yes or no? So what happens? But looking back, it was one of the best decisions I have ever made. But looking back, now wherever I'm standing, if I look back, ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଛକୁ ଦେଖେ, ମୋର ଅତୀତକୁ ରୋମନ୍ଥନ କରେ, ସେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ଭାବେ it was one of the best decision of my life. That was one of the best decision of my life. ପିଲାମାନେ ତୁମକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟିଆ କଥା କହିବି, ବାପା ମା ଯେଉଁ କଥା ସବୁ କହନ୍ତି ଆମକୁ ଖରାପ ଲାଗୁଥାଏ, ଏବେ ଖରାପ ଲାଗୁଥାଏ, ଆମେ ବାପା ମାଆଙ୍କ ବିଷୟରେ ଚିନ୍ତା କରୁଥାଉ, ବାପା ଏମିତି କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ବାପା କ'ଣ ଛୁଆ ବେଳେ ଏମିତି କରୁନଥିଲେ କି, ବାପା କ'ଣ ମା କ'ଣ ଏମିତି କରୁନଥିଲେ କି ନାହିଁ. Yes or no? But beta, it is their experience. They have experienced such situation. That's why they are advising you. So you are to listen to your parents. You are to listen the words of your parents. ବାପା ମାଆଙ୍କର କଥା ଶୁଣିବା ଦରକାର. Yes or no? Karana, because they are sharing their experience, they are telling from their experience. So minute I dropped out, I could stop taking. So ever man, the minute I dropped out, ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ କଲେଜ ଛାଡ଼ିଲି, the minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes. What I did, I could stop taking the required classes. ମୋର ଯେଉଁ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ମାନେ ମୁଁ ନେବା ପାଇଁ ମାନେ ମୋତେ ବାଧ୍ୟ କରାଯାଉଥିଲା, କାରଣ I have paid that money. ସେଇ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ମୋର କିଛି ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ନଥିଲା, because I was not interested. ମୋର ଆଗ୍ରହ ନଥିଲା ସେଇ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ପ୍ରତି, ତ ମୁଁ ସେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ମୋତେ ପଡ଼ୁ ନଥିଲା. Required classes that I didn't interest me, the class that didn't interest me, I didn't go there. ମୁଁ ଗଲି ନାହିଁ ସେ କ୍ଲାସ୍କୁ. Yes or no? And begin dropping in on the ones that looked interesting, and begin dropping in. I joined as a visitor in those classes that the one that looked interesting. ଯେଉଁ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ମୋତେ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା, ଯେଉଁ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ମୁଁ ପସନ୍ଦ କରୁଥିଲି, ମୋତେ ଫ୍ୟାସିନେଟିଂ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା, ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା. Yes or no? ସେହି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ମୁଁ ଜଏନ୍ କଲି. ପିଲେ ଆଜି ତ ସମୟ ହେଇଯାଇଛି, ମାତ୍ର 3ଟା ପାରା ସରୁଛି ଅଧଘଣ୍ଟାରେ, ତ ଆଉ 2-3ଟା କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଲାଗିବ. ଓକେ, see you in the next class. That's all for the day. We'll start from the last para of page number 97 tomorrow. Okay, bye bye, take care.